Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to our 2023 Patriot League Virtual Football Media Day. We're going to open it up with Fordham University, selected number 2 in our preseason poll. We've got head coach Joe Conlin and graduate student wide receiver MJ Wright. So we'll open it up, Coach, first with an opening statement.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It's always great to be here. This year quite literally signifies the start of our season, where the guys are moving in as we speak. Today's our report day because we play week 0 against Albany on August 26th. But we're very excited to kick this one off. After a relatively successful 2022 season, we lost some talented men and good leadership, but I think our returning guys, our upperclassmen, have filled that void very well this offseason. I think we have good depth on both sides. 2 of our top 4 wide receivers come back, including MJ, our number 2 rusher, 4 out of 5 on the offensive line. All of our tight ends are back from last year, and we have over half of our defense returning, over half of the starters, and a lot of our 2 deep. So, excited with where we are, and obviously some guys are going to have to step up, and we have some big shoes to fill. But from what I've seen this summer and how the men have progressed, I'm very, very eager and excited to start practice tomorrow afternoon. So I just kind of can't wait to get it rolling here.
Thank you very much, Coach. We'll open it up now. Questions for Coach Conlin first, and then we'll get into questions for MJ Wright.
Hey, Coach, this is Chuck Burton of the College Sports Journal. Talk a little bit about the, obviously you lose to graduation, like basically an all-time offense, right, from your team. It's like, how do you approach that in the off? Like, how did you approach that in the off season? Just like, Demorad is gone, is graduated, and Fotis is gone, and how did you just approach that to the team?
Well, that's kind of a fact of life in college football, and we were fortunate enough to have Tim for 5 years, basically. But everyone knew that was his last go around. I think losing a quarterback is always a significant thing, especially one as talented as Tim. But we went out and we addressed the depth of quarterback. We got a transfer quarterback from the University of New Mexico, and CJ Montez. We have a couple guys on our roster, Jack Capaldi, Joe Conlin, that stepped up this spring, did a nice job for us. So we'll have good competition going into this fall camp. But and like I said, we have a lot of production coming back at wide receiver, a lot of production coming back at running back, a lot of production coming back at tight end, plus some talented newcomers coming in. And anytime you're replacing guys like this, you just have to rely on your evaluations and your recruiting process, and hopefully you did the job well enough that these guys can now step up. And you're not going to find the type of production we had with Tim. We're not relying on that, but I think we can certainly be good on offense and have a successful year.
Coach Lou Orlando, WFEV. Despite all the talent that you've lost on the offensive side, you still returned 4 all-league selections offensively, 3 of them receivers or running backs. How much can that help a new quarterback taking over the starting position?
Yeah, a great deal. And MJ being a returner and a captain and a perennial all-league player, just to see his development with CJ, as the spring progressed, and then this summer went out to California with him, spent some time with him out there, as well as Jack Capaldi, working with those guys like Mekhi Felton, Garrett Cody, who've been here for a long time, have been in the offense. CJ came right in, moved in with these guys. CJ and Jack are constantly working with our wide receivers and tight ends and running backs. You have a guy like Luffridge back there to kind of keep everybody calmed down. It's invaluable, and we're very blessed to have a lot of continuity on the offensive side of the ball.
MJ, talk a little about that. So you traveled out there and you worked with him, just to kind of get some rapport. Just tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Me and then a couple of my teammates stayed in Rancho Cucamonga and then Pasadena, and then his dad actually, CJ's dad, he runs TNT facility over there. So we were up at 6 a.m. almost like camp days, getting some receiver work, getting some DB work, and just getting that connection down, extra hours, hanging out, going to the beach, just building that bond and that friendship. So it was a great experience and had a good time, and now we're excited to be back.
Joe, you and Holy Cross have obviously waged some great battles in recent years, but what has set them apart as they seek their fifth straight league title? And are they the team to beat again this year, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think until someone beats them, they're certainly the team to beat. Yeah, I mean, I think those guys do a great job. Bob and his staff. They I think built very similarly to us. They opportunistic on offense. They can generate big plays. They play physically, very good on the offensive line. Last year, defensively, I thought Liam Anderson was a pretty special player, and Reichwein and Kuznetsov, the two defensive ends, really played hard. They lost Jacob Dobbs middle of the year, but he's a heck of a football player. And their secondary is long and talented, and they play hard. And they've been very fortunate on special teams as well, and they've been very good. To their credit, I think they blocked what, punt in 6 straight games or something like that last year, which is an incredible thing to do. So they don't really have a lot of weaknesses. Offense, defense, special teams. They're very good in all 3 phases. Kids play hard. I mean, obviously we came out 1 point short in that game last year, but it was a heck of a fight. But yeah, certainly until someone knocks them off, they are the team to beat in our league.
MJ, tell me a bit about what you're working on. You worked on a game this offseason. Obviously, you're working on rapport with the quarterback crew, but also like your own personal game, like for at wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely working with those young guys because we got a bunch of young guys coming in. So we're on the jugs every single day, getting some footwork in, some releases, getting that route package down. So in terms of personally, just bringing them along, working on that leadership, and just getting the timing down with the quarterback.
MJ, you chose to come back here for a 5th season. What drew you back to the university and the program?
Yeah, definitely just the relationship. What I built here, Coach Conlin, Coach Celta, I just couldn't leave it in terms of just our relationship, and then just my brothers here, lifelong brothers, in terms of going on my 5th year here. So I feel like that what we're building here is still special, pursuing that championship, pursuing that FCS run. So I'm excited to be back.
MJ, Ryan Sakamoto from the Patriot League. You kind of touched on, being really close to the championship, being as close as you were last year, having it, almost in grasp. How much of a motivating factor is that for all of you going into camp this season?
Yeah, it's definitely motivating because what we know, it's almost like a stepping stone going into this year. So we know it's at hand and we can achieve that. So, but what first comes the work starting now in terms of camp. Just going 1-0 each day, practice in the weight room, lifting. So it just definitely starts today.
Okay, do we have any more questions for Fordham head coach Joe Conlin or graduate student receiver MJ Wright?
I guess just real quick for Coach Conlin. I know obviously there's a lot of focus on. I guess it's a week to week focus, but is there any like one game that looks like that? I mean, like we'll talk about the Albany. Like you're starting out the season in Albany. Talk a little bit about that. That's your first focus really.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly not going to be an easy one. They're a tough team. We have played a really tough game against them last year. I think we had to score 14 or 21 in the fourth to win. But it was down in the wire. They got a really good quarterback coming back. They play hard up front on defense. CAA team, and we played 3 CAAs last year in the regular season, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, open up with Albany. That's gonna be tough. Then Wagner at home. They're much improved. Then we go out to Buffalo. So the first 3, not a walk in the park. And then we come back and kind of our next 4, we have 2 league games. Georgetown and Lehigh, and there's not going to be any easy week this year. There's not one where we think we can just kind of roll the ball out there. Every team in the league was I would say young last year, except for maybe us and Crawl. So there's going to be a lot of talent kind of build up, and whether it's Georgetown, Lehigh, Lafayette, Colgate, everybody has Bucknell. Everyone has talented young football players, and that played a lot of football last year, and they're coming along. So it's really going to be a week to week. Just got to have a great week of practice, great week of preparation, and do your best on Saturday. It's going to come down to who takes care of the football, and who executes better, and those are going to be the teams that have success.
Okay. Any other questions for Coach Conlin or for MJ Wright?
Coach, what have you heard from Tim about his experiences so far? Moving on to the next level.
He was, we most of our play calls on offense are a word or two, and Timmy was very, he was freaking out about how verbose NFL playbooks are, and he was also, it's something like 500 or 600 pages, so a little bit different from that aspect, but he said it with a smile on his face, as we knew Timmy would, and he seems like he's having fun down there, so. I'm sure he'll do a great job, and we couldn't be prouder of him or Nicky Zakel or Dylan Mayburn or Chase or any of our guys that are in camps right now.
Okay, final questions for Coach Conlin and MJ Wright. Anything else? Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the camp day, and best of luck in the 2023 season.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.